And then in your woman's pattern, you have these tucks. I'm not sure that the men's shorts have this step, but you bring the notches together and press those into place. The tucks go away from center front. So they're one direction on the left and the opposite direction on the right. You're going to, after you bring the notches together and press them into place, you're going to just edge stitch those to keep them in place for when you add your waistband. And this is an optional step not all of you will have, but if you have this in your pattern, or if you're doing the classroom pattern that I brought, this is what you do. So then on this side, you're bringing those pleats over, let's see, to the opposite direction. Again, just edge stitch into place so they don't move on you when you add your waistband later. Okay, and that's that part. I gotta go back and do those, but then the next step you're gonna do, I've already done for you. I'm sure this part is familiar. You've already overlocked these edges. You're going to, my tension's off too. You're going to do the seam, entire seam for the back crotch. So I call this the J, so you're gonna sew this J together. Okay. As far as your inseam goes, you can do that now. Since we overlock these separately, what we'll do is flatten out the seam and place them. What I like to do is I like to, again, start in the center and move out as opposed to start at the ankle. So if you place this seam together with a pin, then you don't have to worry about whether or not you're lined up when you get to the middle. So you'll open these flat and put a pin to hold that in place. And then you'll go down each side. Because this is the area, usually if you're going to split your pants, this is where you'd split them. So I usually like to go over this a couple times, reinforce it. So I'll start on one side and cross over my seam. Maybe even do a back stitch to give it a little extra. And then down my leg seam. Oh no, I won't because my thread broke. So you get the idea. So you go all the way down that leg
and
then reverse it, right? After that, you're going to have your darts in your back pant if your pattern has darts. And when we do the welt pocket next week, we're going to do the welt pocket through the dart. So you need to sew the darts before we do that welt pocket in class next week. With respect to the pockets, you probably remember this from your Fashion 10 course. You can put your pocket piece, where did the other piece go? With the one, it must have fallen. Here we are. You can put your pocket face to face with the slant line. So you put right side to right side. You stitch this at 1/4 inch. Yeah, I gotta thread this again. One-4 inch seam. What's wrong with my bobbin? Then you will do an understitch to keep this to the inside. So the stitch is on the seam and the pocket. So the seam and the pocket are pressed toward the pocket. And this is your understitch close to the edge. And you can do this if you'd like one more stitch, or if you want it to look a little dressier, you can just press it. But you can do a top stitch here at a 1/4 inch if you want a more sporty look. Then I'd like you also to take your side piece of the pocket, right sides together, and you can join them here at the pocket, outer side of the pocket. This is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then at this point, you're gonna go to your overlock. So your overlock will be around this edge of your pocket, and it will also be on your finished inseam. So after you have, I can start on the other side again. Assume that this has been finished to the bottom. And then I'm going to sew the other leg inseam. Don't do your out seams yet. And then this will go all the way to the bottom of at the ankle, and then you'll overlock the inseam in your pocket edges, okay? So that's how far I want you to get next week. If you want to prepare the waistband, you can do that. You can fuse it, turn under one side a 1/4 inch. I'm sorry, a 1/2 inch, and then leave the other side extended a 1/2 inch for your seam allowance, right? You can also make your belt loops in advance, like we did in the sample. All right, thank you.